Amazing time. Appreciate all of you that I met in Oxford. I had a really good time, although it was freezing. Some of you may have seen my fur coat that I broke out. Much needed homage paid there to Joe Namath. But my goodness, it was absolutely frigid in Oxford. Alabama gets the win. And as a result, there are 9 teams that can still make the college football playoff depending on how things break down. And I'll run through who those 9 teams are. I'll give you my college football top 10. I will also give you my SEC power rankings 1 to 14. And then I'll run through everything that we learned in the NFL with all the games that were played yesterday. But I want to start in college football with the 9 teams that are still alive to make the college football playoff. All right. These are the teams if everything breaks down. Now, most significant outcome from a playoff perspective over the weekend. What a game. Washington gets the win on the road against Oregon. Phenomenal performance there by Washington. Great game overall. And UCLA, after many people had gone to sleep on Saturday night, including yours truly, UCLA lost to Arizona, which means I'll break down each conference. There are 3 teams still alive in the SEC who could make the college football playoff. Georgia, which just has to beat Kentucky and Georgia Tech, and it's in. Tennessee, which just has to beat South Carolina in Columbia this weekend, and then next weekend here in my hometown of Nashville, has to win those, and they're very likely in. LSU, which has to beat UAB and Texas A&M, and then finish 11-2 and beat Georgia in the SEC championship game, and they might get in. So there are 3 teams still alive in the SEC: Georgia, Tennessee, LSU. In the Big Ten, there are 2 teams still alive: Michigan and Ohio State. They play next weekend, and the winner of that game will likely be in the college football playoff no matter what happens in the Big Ten championship game. The loser, depending on how that goes, could still be on the fringes looking to see what happens. TCU, which got a big win against Texas, 17-10, got up 17-3, I believe, if I remember correctly. Never really significantly challenged in that game. So you've got TCU on the road this weekend against Baylor. They're only a 2 or 2.5 point favorite. Baylor could upset the apple cart there. I think TCU has to go undefeated to get in, by the way. And then in the Pac-12, you have 1 team still alive. You have USC, the only team left in the Pac-12 with 1 loss. Everybody else has lost 2 or more. Then you come all the way across the whole country, and Clemson and North Carolina, both with 1 loss, holding on by their fingertips to the idea that they might get into the college football playoff. Now, as we speak, I like to look at what the odds are for national championships because this gives you a decent sense of how teams are likely to be favored and broken down. Right now, Georgia's minus 125. Ohio State plus 250. This is to win the national championship. Michigan is 6-1. Tennessee is 16-1. TCU 20-1. And then you get some big jumps up. USC 50-1. Remember, USC plays UCLA this weekend. Then they play Notre Dame. Then they would play the Pac-12 champion. If they win out, they have a decent chance to get in. I don't think that they are going to win out. It wouldn't stun me if UCLA beat them this weekend. LSU's 50-1. Clemson 60-1. North Carolina all the way out to 100-1. And then you have Utah, Alabama, and Oregon at 200-1 or higher. There are really 9 teams remaining that have a chance at the college football playoff. I think that we're going to end up, if I were predicting right now, I think there's a good chance that you will get undefeated Georgia, undefeated Ohio State, Tennessee as the 3, and then depending on how TCU does, TCU may be in with 1 loss. Certainly TCU's in if they're undefeated, or USC, or maybe Clemson, depending on how all this shakes out. But I feel good about Tennessee if they beat South Carolina, and Vanderbilt being one of the 4 playoff teams. Again, still a lot that can happen. We don't know how all the games are going to shake out, but that is the way that I would assess college football right now.